Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nicky Vaux, and I'm your host. I am a boat owner, a marina owner, a director on the Marina Industries Association, and a huge advocate for boating. In this series, I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there, enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Welcome to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I'm excited because I've got a female entrepreneur in front of me today. I like female entrepreneurs. They're really cool. So I have Mel Moss from Seller by Sea. She saw a niche in the market and ran with it, of which I am very proud of her. So Mel, welcome. Tell me, where did this mad idea come from, my darling? You know, when there's something like that isn't happening, there's usually a barrier to entry for it. So what was that barrier that you pushed through?
There were quite a few. The first one being same-day alcohol delivery. Around that time, being locked down, it was very easy for people to procure more alcohol than they possibly needed. So the Liquor and Gaming New South Wales Health had really cracked down on new liquor licenses for same-day delivery. The fact that we wanted to deliver to boats as opposed to a residential address had never really come up before. So there are existing licenses that allow people to do it, but nobody had specifically said we're going to deliver to a moving object. So I had to convince New South Wales Liquor and Gaming that our business was community focused and safe to actually be given this same day liquor license before we even looked at how we were going to do it and the actual makeup of the business. It was, are we even going to be allowed to do this?
Yeah.
And that took us 8 months to get to that point.
Wow. Okay. So it was 8 months of just potentially getting there.
Absolutely. So you're trying to build a business around something that you might not even get, but I wanted to use every minute of that time building the concept, getting prepared for that day when we could be out on water. It was my first big entrepreneurial action, so I really was flying a bit blind. I'd never driven a boat before. I was basically doing what a lawyer does for big businesses that want their own liquor licenses. I had to do that myself. So sometimes I say to people, you know, I've done a law degree in liquor licensing. I can tell you anything there is to do with how to get a liquor license. Just 8 months of completely flying blind.
Wow. So first entrepreneurial item, first entry into the boating world.
Yep.
First entry into the liquor space.
Yep. And I guess even into the delivery space. So 3 traditionally male-dominated fields. I just decided that this was what I wanted to do. I've been obsessed with boats ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And growing up in Western New South Wales, it had always been a dream of mine to be on water. That was just the pinnacle of what I wanted to do. And so the idea that I could build a company doing what I loved, working where I loved, which is being amongst boats and marinas and that camaraderie, it was just, there was no option for me but just to keep going all the time to get it.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. You've said that you love boats, marinas. Where has that love come from?
I honestly couldn't tell you. My family are not boaty at all. They ski, that's their sport, but the salt water and the idea of freedom, I'm a nomad, and the idea of getting on a boat and having that freedom, my dream is to live on a boat.
Okay.
And to learn to sail and to just be completely free. And my husband's an accountant, and so he said to me, if you want a boat, then you've got to come up with a business that we can use it as a tax. So
I love it.
So that was how I had to do it.
So that was the incentive.
That was the incentive. But now I think he kind of regrets it because we've spent far more than it would have cost to buy a boat on the business.
But so he's obviously been very supportive of this venture.
100%.
Yeah. And so for a while there, did you quit work to start doing this, or how did that all come about?
Complete stay-at-home mum. I have 3 kids. My last job was 13 years ago in fashion PR and marketing. So no experience in any of these fields whatsoever. Just that passion and drive and persistence that I think is built into being a female, it's built into being a mum, and it's what keeps you going when the time gets tough. It doesn't necessarily matter what you've done before. If you want something badly enough, you'll find a way.
Yeah. So it was pure passion that got you started with this. It wasn't a need in terms of, you needing the income.
Yeah.
It was more so, no, I really want to do this because I want this to be part of my lifestyle.
100%. It's 100%. I want it to be part of my life. I want boats to be part of my life. My favorite days are when I'm on a boat, I'm digging around, learning how it works, learning how to drive it. I'm talking to people about boats. I'm just hanging out at a marina. Those are my favorite days. And it's just what I wanted so badly to be a part of, this amazing life.
So tell me about that first boat moment in terms of you're looking for the boat, right? And you're out there trying to find a boat. How was that for you?
Oh, my goodness.
Give me some funny stories from that.
Oh, we have so many. You might regret what you asked. So because there's nobody out there doing this, everything was from scratch. We didn't know what boat would be the perfect boat to even do this. So we started off by buying a vintage wooden cruiser.
Oh, wooden. Oh, my goodness.
100%.
Okay.
So my best friend is an amazing sailor, Nina Curtis, and we got her to help us bring the Ariel. We named the Ariel after my daughter.
Yeah.
And it was my dream boat, beautiful little old wooden cruiser. Knew nothing about boats, but she was gorgeous and she was in our price range, so we bought her. Yeah. And she was living in Parsley Bay, and we decided on a Saturday morning that we would bring her up around the heads and into Pittwater. I know, you're laughing because you know.
My goodness.
So we got down to Parsley Bay. We'll have an early start. The swell wasn't coming up until 2 p.m. Perfect. It would take us about 5 hours.
I'm glad you checked the weather.
We checked the weather.
That's a tip, folks. We always check the weather.
Check the weather. So we have Predict Wind on our phones. We've reached out to them and they're super nice about us using their platform. And so we obsessively check it. I check it the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. So we went down to Parsley Bay. The Ariel didn't start, of course, because boats don't start.
Yeah.
So for 4 hours, we ended up manually, I can't even believe, we pulled her into the wharf by rope. We literally swam her in.
Oh, my God. Yeah. How big is she?
She was 24 foot.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had 2 Olympians with me.
Yeah,
so we brought her in, tried everything to start her up. We were on the phones to all the Pittwater boaties, ringing, dads, uncles, everyone. No one knew what to do. And then eventually a marine mechanic came past. He wanted to use the wharf. And he's like, when are you guys getting off the wharf? And we said, we can't. The boat's not starting. He's like, you got a hammer? And we're like, of course we've got a hammer. One bang. And of course she started.
The Jeremy Clarkson starting.
Totally started the boat. And Nina was like, grab the gear, get on the boat. So by this time it was about 11:30. And so we knew that our window was smaller. And knowing what I know now, I would have said, let's leave it for another day. But I didn't know. So I was like, right, let's go. That's fantastic. The boat started. So we left and we got as far as Manly, and it was those beautiful crystal clear plain waters. You could have swam beside the boat. It was so amazing. I was like, this is great. This business is going to be amazing. Best thing I've ever done. And then by the time we got to, I'd say it was about Mona Vale, swell was coming up. I'd been sick. It was getting hairy. We started burning oil. She's an old girl.
Yes.
So by the time we got to Palm Beach, Nina had said, that's it, put your life jacket on. They were considering throwing me overboard to swim back in. They were going to try and keep the Ariel off the rocks around the heads.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. And she made it in. This is how beautiful and brave my first boat was. She made it inside the heads before she stopped. And we got a tow onto the police mooring, and then amazing marine rescue came and towed us to our mooring at Clareville. And what was supposed to be a 4-hour day turned into a 16-hour day, of course, because that's boats. And from then on, it was just, one boat after another trying to find the perfect fit for the business.
Oh, wow. So I love the way that you speak about her with affection.
Yes.
Is she still with you?
We sold her about 6 months ago, not because we wanted to, but because she wasn't working for the business.
Yeah.
And my dream is to own a sailboat. And so she wasn't the perfect fit and I needed the capital in the business. But she's gone on for a new life with an ex-captain who is renovating her, bringing her back to her glory. She now lives back in Middle Harbour and she's the love of my life.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she was... I think of how much I learnt from that boat and from we bought a Thundercat. We thought that would work. We bought a dinghy. What else have we got? We've got a barge that we use until we've finally landed on the boat that we now are having designed for us, which I'll tell you about in a little while.
Yeah.
But, you learn something from every boat.
You do.
Right?
Now, when you bought that first boat, Ariel, did you do a survey on her or anything? I'm guessing
we didn't.
Yeah.
And big mistake, of course. I put it down to it was experience and also she wasn't built commercially. She was handmade. And
Yes.
so we couldn't even get her commercially surveyed so that she could work within the business.
Yes.
So many lessons I learned from that. One being that the business is my primary responsibility and I learned everything to do with liquor and gaming and I sort of palmed this side of it off onto my husband who also has his own work. And it really taught me that if you're running your own business, you have to check everything. And so I would never have bought that boat and I actually wouldn't have bought the subsequent 3 boats that we purchased through the business. My gut told me not to buy them. I wanted what we are actually getting now right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And we had the capital in the business to purchase it outright back then. We don't now. But those mistakes I made have brought me here. And so it's all learning. And would I make that same mistake again? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But yes, we didn't get it surveyed.
Can you just to explain to our listeners, a survey is you engage a contractor to actually go over the boat before you buy her, to check anything that might be wrong with her, to check that anything needs fixing, so on and so forth. And then you can determine whether that boat is the right boat for you and also how much needs fixing on it, if anything. Some of them don't, but so that you can determine how much it's actually going to cost you.
Absolutely.
Rather than the price that you're paying for it. So if anybody needs to reach out I will do a newsletter at some point. So sign up for our newsletter on theboatprincess.com about surveyors for boats. There are a number of really great ones in Sydney and Australia generally. I had somebody reach out to me in Queensland just recently for somebody to survey a boat up there. I didn't know who I should trust up there, so I trusted one of my contacts up there and they sent me a few for them to choose from. So it's a really important part of boat purchase.
100%. Big lesson learned.
Yeah. So everyone out there, before you buy a boat, please never buy it off eBay or anything terrible like that.
It's never the purchase price.
No, always go through a boat. I always recommend to go through a boat broker because they can give you so much advice as to whether that's the right boat for you.
100%.
And they can also put you in touch with the right, having the right people to look after your boat and do things on your boat is incredibly important. If you start with a boat broker, they will have those contacts for you and they will share them with you. If you just buy it from a private owner, you're less likely to get all of that information. So I really recommend using boat brokers.
It's so different to buying a used car, which is when we first started, we were sort of in that. We thought it was the same thing, check the boat out ourselves, make sure it starts. Is it what we want? But it's so different.
It is very, very different. Yeah. So also, let's unpack that moment you talked about the commercial survey. Now, that's different to the survey when you buy it. Can you explain to our listeners what that is?
So our boats need to have extra provisioning on them at all times. So even when we had a small dinghy that was doing our deliveries, we have to have a full first aid kit. Our boat needs to be commercially surveyed, which means that it can be used for commercial purposes. There are different exemptions that commercial boats are under. Ours is a very basic. We can't carry passengers, but we can carry our product and drive around and sell our product within enclosed waters during the day. So those are the exemptions that our boats are surveyed under. And then the more that you want to do, say if you wanted to be a charter boat or if you're a ferry, there are various different exemptions for that as well.
Yeah, and I think the Australian public in particular need to be very aware of that. You can't just rent out your boat.
100%. I see it all the time on community pages or I see people asking, is there someone who wants to just take us out this weekend? And you have to think about, your protection and your insurance and what your boat is qualified and able and safe to do. For me, it's the safety of our staff. It's the safety of ourselves. It's the ability to actually say no when mates say to us, oh, can you just, take us around to Cottage Point on your boats? I can actually say no, we're not allowed to do so. It could destroy our business to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually really important. And lots of people might think, oh, I can rent out my boat out for the day. It'll be fine. And it might be.
Yeah.
But if something goes wrong,
it's too horrifying.
Insurance won't cover you. You'll be in a whole world of mess. So please don't do that, peeps. It's really, really important in Australia. So what sacrifices have you had to go through as a family, as yourself, to establish this business and really drive it?
Oh, there's a lot. I try not to think of them so much as sacrifices, but I think of what my family has gifted me to be able to do this. So my husband has completely funded the business. He's always been the one that's worked and I've raised the children. And he would be the first person to say that what I do should be a paid job as a mum. So not disparaging that at all. But he has financially funded the business. We're going for a COVID relief loan at the moment, and he is a director because he literally funnels his salary directly into the Seller by Sea bank accounts every month so that I can pay all of my boat gear, my rent, my product, my staff. So he has given so much. Our children have lost school holidays. They gave us their Christmas holidays this year because we had to work every day. We're growing the exposure of the business. So we made a decision this Christmas holidays that we would be out every single day, whether we had orders or not. We would be out talking to everybody on Pittwater. And our children, as a family, we discussed it and they absolutely said, that's fine. That's what we do. We're building something amazing. You're building something amazing. So they have given me the freedom to be able to do that. They've gone from having a full-time mum to someone who, if I cook dinner twice a week, that's a big win. And they never, ever give me stress, or they never complain. And they just, all of them give everything that, for me, it's, I don't really have any sacrifices because I have their full support in everything.
Is anybody crying out there right now?
I'm really lucky. They're incredible. I have 3 children and all 3 of them fully understand why we're doing this. It's for our future so that we can live on a boat.
That's wonderful. And I don't think it's bad for children.
No, I don't
to
at all.
have mum not there making their dinner every night. Yeah. I know my boys have grown up into spectacular young men and I wasn't there to do their dinner every night and all that sort of thing. They've just had to muscle in and do what they needed to do.
Resilience is so important. And I think of that 8 months when I didn't know what we even had. I had to be resilient every day. There were so many blows. It wasn't a yes process. It was always coming from a place of no, we don't think that we can allow you to do this. And so I had to pick myself up every single time and find a way. And that's resilience. I was brought up in the country and I try and instill that in my kids. And our daughter in particular, she's 13, and Easter long weekend, last weekend, she would babysit for us 12 hours a day. And we're out on water. We can't get to them if they need us. She needed to understand the weight of that responsibility and what she had to do. And not once did I get a phone call or, the boys are misbehaving, or she just mucked in and did what she had to do, and they are better for it, and she's a better woman for it. She's going to be amazing because I've shown her what a woman can do, and I needed to do that.
That's really important.
Yeah.
I think that's really important for women to show their daughters.
Absolutely.
Especially what they're doing, but also for their sons to recognise that women are allowed to work and they are allowed to be entrepreneurs and go out and do their own thing and be resilient and so on and so forth. And resilience is sometimes lacking in kids these days.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that kids always do what you do. They don't do what you say.
100%, of
So,
course. I always say to them, resilience, kindness, and manners will get you everywhere. And I just try and display that, because it doesn't matter if you're the smartest person in the room. It doesn't matter if you're the most good-looking person in the room. If you're the kindest person in the room, you're the one that everyone wants to speak to. So that's how they'll get ahead in life.
That's awesome. Wow, you're a great mum. I would have liked you as my mum. No, I didn't mean that, Mum. You were an amazing mum. I love you.
They're good kids. I think they make it easy. They're nice children, so I'm very proud of them.
That's lovely. That's just gorgeous. So now that you're doing this business, explain to me what you actually do.
So Seller by Sea is a same-day alcohol delivery business to boats. So similar to, I guess, a Jimmy Brings on land, we deliver same day to your boat. So customers can place an order on our website and we can bring it out. We try to stick within a 2-hour window. Our boating customers are the best because they know how long things take on boats.
Yes.
Our charter boat customers can be quite funny. We get a lot of, we want it immediately. And it's like, okay. So for starters, our liquor license prevents us from delivering immediately. We have to wait 1 hour.
Really?
Yes. So that was one of our conditions that were placed on our license that we fully adhere and agree with, because at the end of the day, it's all about the safety of your community. And so we feel that if customers are already drinking, that 1 hour just gives them that little bit of time in between drinks. It gives them that time to consider, have they had enough? But what we have actually found with the business, which is so wonderful, is that not once has it been a boatload of people that have had too much to drink ordering more. Our customers have perhaps had wine on board and they fancy champagne, or they fancy some cocktails or a sunset. They haven't provisioned correctly and it's a beautiful sunset and they don't want to go home. So for us, it's just we have that hour to wait, but which by the time we load our products and get out on Pittwater, it takes that amount of time anyway. So it's same day alcohol delivery, packaged liquor. So we can't sell boat to boat like a bar. We did try to do that. I did try to have a floating bar.
Yes.
I envisioned little seats along the barge and people sitting at my bar, and I was shaking cocktails in Pittwater, and they said, absolutely not. And that was one of those times where I got a no and I had to say, okay, so let's pivot. What are we going to do? Yeah. And so now orders are placed basically through our licensed premises, which is on land, and we receive that order, we pack the order, and then straight out to the boat on Pittwater for now.
That's so cool. And I guess one of the things I know would happen on boats is that you're on your boat and a whole bunch of tenders turn up.
Absolutely. With
friends that are on their boats over there, and they haven't brought enough drink with them, and I need some more drink quick.
Every time, or impromptu raft ups, or for us, I think the most beautiful ones are the sunsets when they say, oh, we've just decided to stay out. You wouldn't happen to have any prawns? And we're like, yes, we do. And it's so magic. Like imagine receiving that order and knowing that someone's been able to extend their perfect day because you can feed them and you can bring them a cocktail. It's honestly, it's the best. I really, really love doing what we do.
That is so cool. So you don't just do alcohol, you do other provisions as well.
We do.
Tell me what you do.
So we have fresh Australian prawns. We do tiger prawns because they're the best, and we're getting quite famous for them. We get asked, where do you get them? It's a bit of a tight held secret.
Yes, won't tell that one.
But people are fascinated by where we get our produce from. We have 2 local sisters who make our salads to order. So by Love Food, and everything is made fresh to order. So we started the business carrying a lot of food on board, and we were finding that it was just going to waste, or, we all got sick of eating prawns, which believe me does happen. And we decided that we would try and work from a no waste policy. So we tend to do a period of time with ordering. So if, people want salads the next day, they order and then their salads are made up. But we always have fresh prawns, fresh lardonnette bread, beautiful sauces, and our cold drinks are always standard.
And how do they order?
Website. So we're trying to build a really automated process.
Yes.
So that it's simple. Instead of having to ring us and potentially getting me, wherever I am, we have this beautiful website that's been built, and it's literally a 2-minute process of going on, placing the order, and putting in your boat details, and we come out to you. But the most exciting thing, I think for us, another sort of pivot that we had to do, if you can imagine you're on your boat and you're trying to place an order and you're saying, come to me, and we have to pick you out of 100 boats in the basin.
Oh, imagine.
It's such a manual process, and I never wanted this business to be manual. I wanted it to be the same as any other, a Dan Murphy's or a Jimmy Brings. So it's about the customer being able to place that order and sit back and relax, and they don't even need to worry about us until we turn up. So we're currently working with a delivery logistics company to actually build in GPS locating software within the website.
Ooh.
I know it's super, super exciting. So, and I'm not a tech person, but I've had to learn how to build a website. I've learned about all this tech, and basically you're in there, you put in your details, you put in your birthday and all those things, and then you just drop a pin where you are. And we see that, and we send you a text, and you can watch our boat actually come out to you to your pin dropped location.
Oh, that's
I know,
clever.
it's so good.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
It is really exciting when you get tech together like that, isn't it?
Oh, it's so amazing.
We have a business called Spilt Milk Gelato.
Yes.
Based in Orange, New South Wales is our main store. And then we've got one in Canberra and one in Tamworth now as well. Fabulous, fabulous gelato. I'm a little bit biased, but it is fabulous gelato. But we created an app for that business to do home delivery.
Yeah.
And we were just about to launch it in Orange. And the next, I think it was like 2 days after, we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
So
you
we launched. We were there with the pivot. We were just about to launch it, and we went into lockdown. So we went, oh, here's the app, guys. You can now have your gelato home delivered.
That's amazing.
And the orders came flying in, and just like you delivering
Game changer.
Alcohol to boats and seeing smiling faces on a sunset, we had kids that were so grateful that a tub of gelato was arriving on a little moped for them. They were just ecstatic.
It gives me goosebumps because it's joy. You're not. I'm not selling champagne. I'm selling an experience. You're selling joy, and it's so magic.
It's so good, isn't it? So good.
Yeah.
So give me some. Apart from that wonderful story about picking up the boat and bringing it up to Pittwater, have there been any other moments you've sort of thought, oh my goodness, what am I doing?
It would happen weekly. It's constant, but that's boats. And everybody warned me when we first started this business. I had so many people warning me against doing this. And of course I didn't listen to them. But maybe if I'd listened to them a little bit more, but there's always that point, and I talk about the business being worth what it's worth, and sometimes I just have $100 day. I'll say, right, that's it. The business is worth $100. It's been $100 day. And then some days you have a $10 million day, and you just, everything works, and you're like, this is magic. But on those days, you know that it takes those hard days to get there.
Yeah.
So they're just as valuable. 3 weeks ago, we were so tired from working through the Christmas holidays. My husband was trying to, do his work, and he was driving for me. We had to find a driver in the business who was again commercially licensed. You can't just use a boat license. You have to have a commercial license. And it forced me to really find the strength within myself. Nobody else could do this for me. My husband couldn't do it for me. And he said, I can't. I'm done now. I've driven your boats for you. I've helped every way I can, but I'm actually out. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. And I had to. And it was probably the hardest 2 weeks of my life. Emotionally, I was broken. I didn't know if I was strong enough to do this. And there was a part of me that was like, you are, because you've done this before. You won't feel like it now, but you're going to come out of this and the business is going to be better for it because you'll be able to do it on your own. And here we are, lo and behold. And I learned things about the direction of the business, to stop worrying so much about those day-to-day sales and to think about the growth of the business and to think about the infrastructure that I build and market. So everything, even those bad days, are teaching you something, and you just have to take those lessons and know that it's going to be better tomorrow for sure.
How inspirational is Mel? Audience, I'm just saying that right at the moment.
Thanks. I don't even think of it as that. It's just, you just got to do it. I've invested a mortgage into this and you just got to do it. And I want it so badly. I want it for myself. I want it for women. These are 3 male dominated industries and I just want to take it. I want to take it for us because we can do this. We can play with boats all day and it's so much fun.
Oh, I love that. So you drive boats now?
I drive boats now.
How did that come about and what was your first experience of that? And tell me all about that.
So our first proper boat for the business was our barge. We bought a punt that was being used as a fire pump at the marina that we were at.
Yep.
And it hadn't been used in 10 years. So the motor was this fantastic motor with about 100 hours on it. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
You should just buy this barge. And so I thought I would turn it into a coffee boat to drive around Pittwater and basically promote the business because it doesn't matter the marketing you do on land. Once someone's out on their boat, they forget about land. That's a beautiful part about it. So we had to be out there with our customers. So we bought this barge and we turned it into a coffee machine boat and we were selling our prawns and ice creams and coffees and I just had to learn to drive the boat. My husband's very much, you can do this. There's no reason why you can't do this. You're doing it. And so he just forced me to drive the boat. So I got a commercial driver's license and started driving this barge up to multi-million-dollar cruises without touching them. We have the biggest fender you've ever seen in your life that runs the entire length of the barge.
Yeah.
But even still, damage can be done if you're not careful. So I had to learn how to drive this boat like I was driving broken glass. So that was my first boat driving experience. And now I'm very happy to say that we've just ordered an Aluka yacht, which is built specifically for Pittwater. It's going to be our delivery boat. It's flat, straight sides. It's powerful and it handles like a Ferrari. So I'm going to be going from like a Volkswagen to a Ferrari with all the experience that I've had in 18 months of learning how to drive boats.
Wow, that's exciting. So you've actually
in and out
got
of marinas and
Yeah. So you're really confident driving boats now. And you've ordered something specifically for you.
Yeah, and I think it's an important point to make is that back when I first started the business, I knew that this was the kind of boat that I wanted. But not having experience and confidence in myself, I allowed other people to tell me what I needed, make decisions for me. And again, that's not a negative thing. It's just part of the learning process. And women's intuition is one of the strongest tools that we have in our arsenal. And I really wish that I'd listened to that and said, no, this is the boat that I think is our delivery boat. It looks beautiful. It's powerful. It's strong. It's specifically designed for Pittwater. It's built by local people. They have a network within that marine channel and the marine industry. You know what it's like. It's a small industry. Everybody talks. Everybody supports each other. And to be supporting another local business and kind of aligning our brands it's really important to me, but it's also going to give us a lot of legitimacy in Pittwater to be able to do that. And so finally, after 4 or 5 boats, we've arrived back where I first began. And there's sort of a little bit of I told you so. I knew this was the boat. But I didn't have that confidence in myself to say, nope, this is the boat that we need. It fulfills everything. Yes, it's more expensive, but I'm a buy once, buy well kind of person.
Yes.
And I've learned in boats that is a very good rule of thumb to have. There's no such thing as a bargain basement boat.
No.
It's just going to cost you elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so this one's being built from scratch to Seller by Sea specifications. It's going to be beautiful, white with a black hull with all of our sign writing. It's very gorgeous. I'm very excited. And a white 90 horsepower Yamaha motor. So I've gotten to choose all of the things.
So that's so exciting.
It's really exciting.
Yeah. So what sort of hull is it? Is it cat hull?
It's almost a flat hull,
and
then it's straight sides. It's like a very small cat basically, and it's designed. I can stand up in it and give handover deliveries without the boat moving, without it damaging boats and moving around too much. The problem with a rounded hull is you've got two hulls buttressing up against each other.
Yep.
There's one small point, and then the front of your boat can potentially damage the other boat, whereas now I can sit alongside, I can move safely around the boat, I can hand over. It's sort of like the perfect tender. It's used on Pittwater as tenders. It's used by the marina guys. It's a fantastic boat, and it's just perfect for our business. And that's what I've learned, is that if you start from day one with your gut, with your research and what is perfect for your business, and find a way, you're going to end up there anyway. So you may as well just do it straight from the bat if you can.
Fair enough. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Aluka, I don't know them.
Have a look at their website. It's two guys, Sam and Cam.
Yep.
Local Pittwater boys, the loveliest humans ever. And I found this a lot with the marine industry. They've been so welcoming to me. People want to give me their time. They want to see us succeed. It's not the closed doors that people think it would be. Everybody wants me to do well. It took a year, I think, for people to take me seriously. And there's a difference between people wanting to help you and people taking you seriously. I had to earn that.
Yep.
They had to see me driving around. They had to see that I wasn't just this person who just woke up one day and decided I'm going to have a marine business. But there was no end of help for us. People recognized what we were trying to do. So all of the electricians, all of the mechanics, surveyors, came and helped us with all of these boats that we bought. And I think now they're going to all breathe a sigh of relief that we're actually buying something really good.
They go, oh, damn.
I know.
Revenue's gone down.
That's the other side of it.
He's got a really good boat.
They've got a really good boat. Oh, my God. So all of that capital that I had has, gone into the marine industry in Pittwater, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I think everyone's very excited. And a lot of them say, we've got a really beautiful big Jeep Gladiator on road. And a lot of the comments are, you look so good on road, and then we see you on water and it's not the same.
Yes.
And so this new boat is just as beautiful, and it's our presence and branding is so important.
Yes.
I don't want to be seen as, the girl who drives alcohol around Pittwater. We're Seller by Sea.
Yeah.
So it's about branding and creating that impression of what we are.
Yeah. So what areas are you covering at the moment?
Covering Pittwater at the moment. We see that as our enclosed, I guess, our paddling pool for the business. It's how we learn about our processes. It's where we've learned how quickly we can make deliveries, how we can find people. I've had to learn about different boats. You ask me about boats now and I know what they look like, but if you'd said to me 18 months ago, I need you to find a Lagoon 45, I'd have to Google it and find out what it looks like. And then I would send the picture to Dave, and then he would be driving around the basin trying to find it. And honestly, you can't believe. We've sent texts to people before. Our punt broke down because the petrol they weren't large enough. The petrol cans that we had weren't large enough. So our boat was stopping, and we've had tenders come and give us tows. And so all of these things we've been able to learn in a safe, enclosed environment. And then our next move is to come around to Cohen Creek and to hit America's Bay, Refuge Bay, where we get all of them.
You need to hit Refuge Bay.
We 100% do, because Pittwater, it's still easy to get your provisioning if you need to. The idea is that our customers are people who have been out for weeks on end and their supplies are running low. So that's the next one for us. And then the idea is to hit Sydney Harbour, and it'll be a completely different look and feel, but we're putting in those processes now to get it right, to be able to expand. And then it's hopefully nationwide.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting.
But yeah, you need to get into Refuge Bay, because we're very lazy boaters at Bobbin Head. We head up to Refuge Bay. We pick up our mooring. We hang there for the weekend, and then we come back again.
Perfect. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's what I do anyway.
No, I think it's if I had $1 for everyone who said, "Are you guys in America's Bay? We want you in America's Bay." And I hate saying no. As a small business owner, you hate saying no.
Yes.
But we're coming. We're coming.
Oh, that's great news. That's good to hear. Very exciting. So with that national edge, you literally want to cover the whole of Australia.
I do. Yep.
That's
There's no reason why I can't. That's the thing. I think it's, as females, we tend to tell ourselves we're our own worst enemy. We tell ourselves what we can't do. I tell myself, why would this small business that I started ever go nationwide? And I can't imagine the guys that started Jimmy Brings thinking like that.
No.
You know, they would have just thought this business model is fantastic. And everyone tells us how great the Seller by Sea business model is. It's only me I see the day-to-day ins and outs. I see the day-to-day struggles. And I have to sometimes get my head away from that and see what everybody else sees, which is this fantastic brand with so much potential that's never been done before. So why not? Why not me?
Absolutely. Go for it, girl. That's what I say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's about surrounding yourselves. That's why I reached out to you, because it's about surrounding yourself with people who think like you do and not letting yourself, be your own worst enemy.
Oh, she's going to make me cry now. Oh. Are you okay out there,
inspired.
folks? Are you okay?
It's so important, a female in business, to surround yourself with like-minded women and strong women.
Totally.
And when you can help other women, like I know that maybe one day it'll be my turn to reach out and help, and the way you're helping me, and that's what you have to do. You have to help other women succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And rely on your supportive men as well.
100%.
They're fantastic as well. And it's
100%. I've always found I love their no nonsense, just get in and do it attitude. And that's what Bodhies are, Nothing is ever a drama. Our customers are so kind, so much advice.
Yeah.
And the Bodhies, they love helping me. They love giving me really, really positive advice. They never talk down to me. It's always, this is great what you're doing. Have you looked at this? Have you tried that? And it comes from such a place of wanting to see me succeed and such a kindness. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lovely. Yeah. No, Boaties I don't know, we're a different breed.
100%.
Yeah.
They're like country people. They're just the best people. They're generous. And I think for me, it's always about happy people who are in the sunshine, or people who have salt water, just genuinely happy people, and happy people help people. Yeah. And Bodhies are surrounded by water. So why wouldn't you be happy all the time?
Well, exactly. And we come back to the good old blue mind again, that when you're on or around water, that your mind goes into this different space. I was talking to somebody the other day who, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody who said they love being on their boat. Yeah. And I said, well, that's blue mind and blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, I thought it was just me. I thought it was just the way I felt when I got on my boat.
Yes.
And I said, no. Everybody feels like that when they get on their boat.
Everybody feels it. I can be having a really hard day, and I've been at the marina, or I've been in my office and things have been hard, and an order will come in, and sometimes I'm like, I'm just not in the headspace to do, okay, just get it done. And the minute I'm out on my boat, I'm a completely different person. Yeah. I change. It is the best.
It is a sensational feeling. I think one of the loveliest things about having a boat is sharing it with friends and family and seeing them feel like that as well, which is such a lovely thing to see. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it has been an absolute delight to have you here today, Mel.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. You've given some real nuggets of motherly advice, of business advice.
I hope so. It's, I'm learning as I go. So it's, you don't know how much you've learned in 18 months, but it seems it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. But the boating community is very grateful that you've started your business.
Thank you.
You've had some really great support from some alcohol suppliers and that sort of thing out there. What ranges do you cover?
We carry a small range because eventually we're going to be able to carry on board. So we have a really concise range. But some of our suppliers have been with us since before we even had a liquor license. So they were on board, they wanted to help us, and the minute we got that license, we were ready. So brand loyalty is something that's really important to us. So, we carry beautiful champagnes from Moet Hennessy. We've had Moet Ice and Verve and Bollinger since the very beginning, and all have female leaders within their field as well. So that's a really nice thing, is working with women who really know what I'm trying to do, and you've got that camaraderie within industries. So those have been great. We started with Four Pines Beer because they were local. We really try to reach out to locals first, and they were really fantastic and supportive. They gave us an amazing price, which to a small business, we don't have a lot of buying power. So when you go into Dan Murphy's, and then when you might look at our prices on our website, there's a huge disparity there because the prices they can offer are so different to what we are paying. And then we've got our boat costs and things on top of that. So when a supplier offers us really amazing pricing, we're so grateful. So Four Pines was with us from the beginning.
We love Four Pines at Waterside Bistro as well.
They're fantastic, lovely people. And we've just recently taken on Corona beer, which is super exciting. It's my favorite beer, and it's the beer that when I was sitting in West Head that day, that's what I was imagining is where's my Corona beer? So we've just taken on them, and they're brilliant. You know, they keep sending us things that we can use to dress up our boats and to put us on brand, and anything that they can do to help us has been a really big one for them. We've got some really beautiful wines. We've got AIX Rosé now, which is gorgeous. And we're thinking of putting some magnums into the Cellar by Say fridge. So we've got some magnums for celebrations. Some gorgeous, probably our biggest seller, funnily enough, are our Robert Oatley Reds.
Okay.
You guys love them. Their signature red series, their Pinot and their Shiraz sell so well for us. So again, you know, they're local, they're boating people. So we wanted to match our brands with them as well. So lots of good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really surprised about the Robert Oatley Reds, because normally we don't have reds on boats because we don't want to stain our teak.
Yes. No, you think of those, you know, winter's nights where you want to be cozy on your boat, because boating is a 365 a day activity. It was so interesting when we first started the business. Everyone was like, oh, it was very seasonal, you know, you'll really struggle in winter. Absolutely not. No. Scotch, red wine, bread, cheese. We are still out there delivering those things. What sailor doesn't want a beautiful bottle of red on board when they're watching the stars in winter?
Absolutely. And appropriate to be Oatleys with the Hamilton Island.
Absolutely.
Sailing Week, Link, all that kind of thing. The Oatley family have been amazing.
Beautiful.
So.
They're customers of ours. They're supporters of ours. They're suppliers of ours. Again, you know, nothing is too much trouble. There's nothing they can't do for us. And so we stock their wines, and it's just a really beautiful symbiotic boating relationship.
That's lovely. I've heard a little rumour that though you deliver alcohol, you don't actually drink a great deal of it these days. What's going on there?
It is very interesting. So May last year, I decided to take a little break for myself. Being in this business and having so much access to it, and really learning about how important the safety around the community was. I wanted, as a licensee, to be able to make the decisions about my customers that were coming from a place of complete clarity with the business. So I decided to just take a little break and see how far I could push my business and my mind with that complete openness. And so I haven't had a drink since last May. But I know. So what I have done instead, it's for me, I absolutely love the habit of it and the enjoyment and the celebration. So what I've done is I've sourced some really beautiful non-alcoholic pieces, and they're actually in the business as well. So we stock Oddbird, which is a French non-alcoholic sparkling, a naughty sparkling rosé, and a Chardonnay, which are from England. And they're for our boating customers, perhaps the skipper's driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or you want to intersperse that with alcohol. And I just wanted to be inclusive. I wanted to make sure that we were looking after everyone. So I think part of it was taking myself away from it for a little while. I could understand why people might choose not to have an alcoholic beverage, and I wanted to make sure that we could provide the absolute best option as well. And as a licensee, I know that every decision I'm making is in the community's best interests, which is part of our plan of management. And it's something that when Liquor and Gaming, you know, they read our plan of management, we have to prove that we are above reproach. I can say everything I do is for the best of the business.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that is dedication, girlfriend.
Yeah,
wow.
Dedication to the cause.
Oh.
I go through a lot of non-alcoholic sparkling bubbles.
Which can be lovely. Look, I didn't drink until, you know, funny story, I didn't drink until I was 43, which was about the time I started selling boats as well. So I think there may have been some synergy there. I needed the alcohol to get me through the deals. It could have been that.
100%.
Yeah. But I am, I don't drink a lot
Yes.
at all. I'm a 1 or 2 glasses. I always joke about me, drinking loads of champagne and all that sort of thing, but I actually don't. I just enjoy a really quality over quantity,
Which is 100% where we stand as well. We're so careful with what we choose and what we stock because it has to be what our customers expect, which is the best, And so it was really nice to be able to try the best non-alcoholic and try everything. And so I can say 100% what we have in the Cellar by Sea fridges is the best.
Oh. So, Mel, how can we find your business?
We're on Instagram and our handle is just Cellar by Sea. Our website, cellarbySea.com.au. We're very, very easy to find and we have beautiful photos. I did a little photo dump of the marina and we really try to show the beautiful space that we get to work from. So you can see beautiful photos of Pittwater every day and our gorgeous boats and our staff and lots of fun.
Thanks so much, Mel. It's been a pleasure having you here. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your business. We're excited for you. It's going to be absolutely huge, I have no doubt, because you are so driven and so passionate about it. And you're resilient.
Thank you.
So thanks, Mel. It's lovely to have you here. If you need anything we can do to help, we're here for you as the boating industry to support you.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled.
Well, it's been lovely to have you listen out there, folks. I really appreciate your ears. And if you'd like to get in contact, just follow me on Instagram at The Boat Princess and perhaps leave me a comment on today's picture of our podcast so that we can get an idea of what you thought about it. That'd be lovely. Take care and we'll see you on the water soon.